Oh yeah, raw dog time. Arf, arf. Oh yeah, look at this guy, Brandon Royval, on top of the world, back at it.
Look at Mini Raw Dog.
Mini raw dog out in the park, the flyweight of the moment. You know I'm going to be fired up to talk to you, Brandon Royval. But what a breakthrough comeback victory over Brandon Moreno! Congratulations on what went down at UFC 298. Talk to me. How you feeling right now?
I feel good. I mean, I also feel like shit too. My like ankles all swollen, and after you get in a fight, it's I always forget too. Like when I was younger, I had like a rule. Like after my first fight, I was like, I'm never kicking again because like I look like I'm the type of dude to break my leg when you throw kicks. You know what I'm saying? And bro, it just sucks for everybody. Like even when you hit like land kicks well, it just sucks. So it's just limping around this park, walking my dog, and all this fun stuff.
Does this feel like the biggest win of your career? Is it the biggest win of your career? It was a gutsy win, man.
Yeah. It definitely is. I didn't feel like it though. Like honestly, I kind of just wanted to win, bro. I was really mad at myself after the title fight, and I just wanted to win, man. I just want to be back in the win column. I wanted to go fight, and I didn't really think it all through. I was just like, all right, this is a good opportunity, and like I can just quick turnaround. And it's like I've never main evented a UFC thing before, so I was like, if I could get on all this, like it's just kind of killing a bunch of birds with one stone, you know?
There you go. So I mentioned it was 298. It wasn't. It was UFC Mexico City, the main event. Massive opportunity. So you get this last minute call when Amir Albazi falls out. Well, not last minute. What was it? About a month and a half, 2 months for you to figure that
Yeah, it was
out.
like 6 weeks.
But that decision, when you're coming directly off the title loss to Pantoja, mentally, everything that goes into play, how much of a debate was it whether to accept that fight? Was it absolutely automatic?
Oh, it was automatic. I have a rule that I don't accept fights that I like. I guess I've never not like hesitated or anything, but like short notices. If you think about it for too long, that's like when I've made my mistakes. I think, which is like I'm basing this off of one fight, but if I'm super enthused about it, it's just like that. Then we're all go. We're all go. It's like if you have to think about it for super long, I think it's a maybe not a good decision, especially like a short notice. I mean, but if you're enthused about it and like your first reactions, yes, and you got to go off of that. So it's like I tell the fighters around me and all that stuff too. It's just like, what's your first reaction, and go off of that if it's a short notice. And for me, my first reaction was like, oh fuck yeah, like I gotta go fight. I gotta be a main event. I get a free trip to Mexico. Like I was all excited about everything, man. So I don't get to go visit the world much. So I was pretty stoked on going to Mexico.
Well, you go in there against a former two-time champion in Moreno, the star of the division in some ways of what he's put together, personality-wise, career-wise, and you knew it gave you its chance to not just run back the title loss and redeem the loss you had to Moreno years ago, but man, it was a from the low of losing to the high of coming in here and win it. It turns your stock around like that, which is the opportunity you get with a last minute notice like that. Uh, does it feel reviving in that regard to you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, maybe not like reviving. Like I don't feel like I'm not 100% sure if I'm getting a title shot off this, but it was just like a nice breath of fresh air, man. Because like I said, losing fights suck, but losing a title fight sucks, man. That was definitely one of the lower ones I've had, and just to get myself right back out of it, and then mainly just like, bro, give myself a reason to wake up every day, like fucking and like enthused and ready to get after it, because after that title fight, like I was sitting like I wasn't motivated to back to training really until that Moreno came around, and I was like, perfect, this is exactly what I needed. I definitely wanted that like edge back, and I feel like that was a cool way to do it. Is just go be a spoiler of parties, and then also like go get the ranking, go show the world what I can do, and I don't know. There's a lot of things. There's so much things that add up into that. That's just like I was so excited to go do.
It wasn't the well, let's talk about this performance against Moreno. He's got that experience. You've been in there with him before. You go 5 rounds here at altitude and you get your hand raised. How do you feel you did this? How were you able to neutralize him and get the job done?
Um, man, I feel like one training in Denver is like always that big advantage where it's like training in Denver, and like I feel like I weaponized cardio, which is like a weird thing to say or like a weird thing to think is like, and I don't want to use it all the time, but it's like I feel like I've weaponized cardio as a fighter and just staying in someone's face and kind of draw like what I'm saying, and just kind of like having that like I don't know, that edge that it's like if it goes third, fourth, fifth round, I'm definitely gonna start getting stronger. And I like part of me too is like wondering, like I wonder what his strategy in that fight was, or like what their like tactics were, because the first 2 rounds he was moving so much, like he wasn't engaging much, and is like I wonder if he was like, all right, we're gonna save some energy and just kind of like preserve energy in that thing. And I kind of wonder if that's what he was, what the tactic was on his side. But yeah, I feel like I weaponized cardio and I made that kind of my thing. And uh, especially later on in that fight, like once I hit like the third, fourth, fifth round, once I like kind of hit him in the nuts, I was like, oh shit, he's tired. Like I knew I didn't really hit him, like I barely like nicked him, if anything, like maybe a toe, And I assume my boy got a good cup on. So I mean, this is all just assumptions. But I know I didn't hit him flush, you know what I'm saying? We're flyweight. My boy back in. No, I'm just kidding. But he was taking all his time, and I was like, oh no, he's tired. That's what it is. Like I didn't hit him in the nuts. He just has a quick way to take a few seconds to catch his breath and then go back at it. So from there on out, every time they broke us up or anytime there's like a split, I just got right back in his face. And that was kind of what I decided from there on out, is that I'm like, okay, I think I have him winded, and I can kind of just start taking over a little bit from here.
Well, when I saw him in the second half of that fight doing non-Brandon Moreno moves, which is to circle away from the action, to constantly almost be using movement to a negative effect. I was going to ask you if you thought it was fatigue on his end, but what do you think you made the adjustment striking wise to be able to close distance easier in ways that you weren't able to in the first couple rounds?
Man, I kind of wish I did more, especially like looking back, because like I could have stole way more angles on him. I could have done like those like cool Lomachenko angles on him. I could have done a bunch of cool things, and then I could have I forget I forget what they call it. We have like a name for it at our gym, but like a shifting. I wish I did a better job shifting, because he was running away a lot, and it's like if I would have shifted and just doubled up on my punches and switched stances, I could have got away with a lot of more calf kicks, and I could have covered distance and just stayed in his face even a little bit more when he was retreating. So, I mean, I feel like what I did was the asshole move and just pick up my cardio, pick up my pace, and just stay in front of him a little bit more. What I wished I did was a bunch of other things, though. So, looking back, we'll do that shit against Pantoja.
One thing you did was, even if he took you down, he didn't keep you down. That was going to be the key to victory in a lot of ways. How happy are you with your ability to avoid those troubles and take that away from him in this matchup?
Yeah, bro, I almost got a go-go plot. I should have went for it. That would have been the coolest. That would have been the coolest way to win, and I would have retired after that. That would have been my last fight. But
oh, you don't mean that. You don't mean that. Come on.
Oh, I feel like I do, man. I've been telling myself this since I was a kid. Like if I get a go-go plot in a fight, I think that's anything I want to accomplish, and I'm done. But yeah, man. Fuck, I forgot the question. I forgot the question, man. My
the
dumbass.
Wrestling, yeah. His
Oh,
ability.
the wrestling. Yeah, I hired a wrestling.
Down.
Yeah, I hired a wrestling coach to watch my videos, to watch my sparring, to watch me wrestle, and then have privates with me. So that's all I worked on that camp. Really, is just wrestling, popping up, and that is just I'm not gonna be held down. Like these fools ain't gonna hold me down. I feel like that's like an empowerment speech that the system's not gonna hold me down no more. But mainly these flyweights aren't gonna hold me down. Really, is what I don't want. So that's something that I'm working on real hard. I worked on super hard this camp, and like I said, I pretty much videoed all my rounds and had somebody looking over it, and just kind of where we went right, where we went wrong, and I just seen those improvements in there really quick. And I knew it was going to be a quick, like learning lesson from Pantoja to Moreno. So by the time that next fight comes around, I'm gonna have it so dialed in.
Well, look, I could ask you,
and I got my first takedown too.
That's what I'm talking
I got my
about.
first takedown.
I could ask you a million questions about technique, but this is Morning Kombat, Raw Dog, so people expect different questions out of me. Do the DMs blow up on fire when you win a 5-round main event in Mexico City?
Yeah, for sure. I get some good shit, some bad shit, but yeah, the DMs are popping. I mean, they're slowing down now, but the DMs are popping. My girlfriend had my phone the whole entire time, making sure they weren't popping too much. Otherwise,
I was going to say, are they Ryan Garcia level popping, or let's put it on levels here,
Well, look, I mean, Ryan Garcia is a lot better looking than the Raw Dogs athlete, and honestly, he got that boxer money, man. Ryan Garcia is worth more. looks better, and damn, sadly both those. You know,
You
I
lose
got
the
more charisma, and I'm not saying outlandish shit right now. So maybe I got personality developed from that. You know.
Yeah, I fear for Ryan Garcia's future after some of those press conferences and
I
interviews that
know,
I've
like,
done that we've seen. Yeah.
yeah, especially like the last one. I'm like, damn, the last two, but the last one especially, I was like, damn, you might be hanging out with my boy De La Hoya too much.
All right, take me back to the fallout of this title fight. You climb the mountain, you make the changes, you get the win streak, you get the Pantoja fight. Talk to you ahead of that one. Such a big moment for your career. But when you lose it, and you know, you lost it in a competitive fight, but it wasn't disputed. You lost the
Yeah,
damn fight, the champion defended. Sometimes fighters don't come back from that. Sometimes it feels like the balloon of invincibility gets popped and that's it. How did you walk that out? How difficult was that?
I needed that Moreno fight. I needed that Moreno fight to kind of pull me in a good place for sure. And there's never no like I don't have doubt I can beat Pantoja. I know I can win that fight. I know little adjustments, little things. I win that fight. But um I definitely wanted that Moreno. Like that Moreno fight definitely pulled me out of that like the place where I was just getting in my head and I was staying at home too much, you know, and then you're not doing what you need to do or what I need to do to get it. And granted, it was like it was the fight, the Christmas and New Year's, and I had family in town, all that stuff. So I wasn't getting much training done. But the moment that fight happened, it was just like, all right, cool. We're back to being focused 100% and all that stuff. So man, really, that's what pulled me out of the dark place. And then two, just like in my head, I 100% believe I could beat Pantoja. It's like I know I know how outlandish it sounds, but it's just like I know I can win that fight. I know I can beat him. I know a couple small adjustments in either one of those fights, I could win those.
Hey, for you to come back so quickly, take a huge fight. I'm always a little nervous. Is it too much too soon? Are you trying too hard to run it back? It turned out to be exactly what you needed, but it took the changes that you mentioned that you made in camp. So you said you didn't get a guaranteed number one contender fight. It could lead that way. What is your strategy? I mean, besides staying healthy and waiting by the phone, where do you go from here?
I have a few ideas. If they're not going to give me the Pantoja 301 fight, I have a few ideas on who's next. I mean, mainly just like one other couple people available. So the flyweight division is a little weird. So it's like there's a handful of people that you can fight. But I mean, I'll fight either one of those two dudes. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. But the goal is always the same, man. Just try to get that belt. Try to chase who's at the top. I'm kind of all about exciting fights too. I love that. That was like my first time ever actually striking a whole entire fight. I've never got to do that as far as been in not only in the UFC but in MMA. Usually I get taken down, so you know now that we're avoiding takedowns, I might have to be able to strike for 3, 4, 5 rounds or whatever it is. So, but that was my first time striking like pretty much a whole fight. So that was pretty cool, and it's just like I like these exciting fights. Fighting Moreno gets me out of bed, and there's a couple other dudes that I'm like, it would be so fun to fight him.
Well, this division is so fun. I always say post Mighty Mouse and Cejudo because anybody can win the title. Anybody ranked in the top 10 is, you know, two big wins away, it seems, or sometimes one from getting their opportunity. Does it feel that way within the top 10 that, you know, as much as like you can beat anybody at any time, but you can lose to anybody at a time? It feels like the competition is so even across the board at 125.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna beat all of them up, honestly. That's how I feel. I know across the board, I feel like even when you go back, like there's that new kid, Josh Van, man. I love watching him fight. I've been watching him fight in the come up, but it's like that kid's boxing's off the chain. He does some cool things, and it's just like all around the board, man. I just feel like the flyweight division is way more interesting now, and I feel like there's so many good fights and so many cool things you can do along the lines, and it's like I definitely want to go in and win a belt, defend it a few times, and watch the flyweight division from a distance once all these kids develop, get good, and start really developing some of their skills. But the up and comers are young and they're good, man. They're really good.
Having two losses to the current champion, does that not hold you back in the same way it held, or we thought it would hold Holloway back from getting a third Volkanovski fight, but he got it. But there were other matchups where there were rumors at times when people always go, wait, that guy's lost to that guy twice. Do you think that'll be something that holds you back from getting another shot at Pantoja?
Possibly. And I feel like that fight was just not long ago. You know what I'm saying? So that's like another thing that could hold me back from it. But I knew when I took the Moreno fight, I was doing whatever I had to do to get back to where I wanted to be. And that's exactly what it is. It's just like I took a risk like that for a reason, you know? I took a risk like that because I'm like, it's going to be hard to deny me once you're back to being the #1 contender.
It had to be great to redeem the loss to Moreno. Was there a part of you that celebrated that?
Yeah, a little bit, but mainly it was just like, man, I really don't count that as a loss. Sorry, my dog's seen a girl dog and trying to lay the Mac down. Honestly, come here,
Trying to
baby.
live
I'm
up
sorry,
to the
but yeah,
family nickname. Yeah, yeah. All right.
he's a little pretty boy. But yeah, a little bit. It was a little cool to just have that, and like, I feel like I was only watching like some of the press conference highlights where he's like, "Well, I was beating Brandon and stuff like that." I didn't hear all the stuff. Like he was saying nice stuff before, and then they'd cut and do like the rude shit. So in my head, I was like, this dude just thinks he won the fight, and it's like that's so weird to me. Like I wouldn't be celebrating that really if it's just like I had nothing to do with the whatever it is, the shoulder popping out. If I'd having a Kimura and the shoulder popped out, then I wouldn't be really celebrating it. It's just like a weird accident that happened, you know. But I went back watched the highlight, like the actual things. I'm like, oh, he was saying some sweet stuff. It was just what they played was the asshole thing. So maybe I needed that in my head too because I was like, fuck this guy. But yeah, a little bit of that, and just a little bit of just man, you gotta be. He's the #1 spot. I didn't like think about it until after the fight, but it's like that's a former champion I just beat, and that's cool. That's cool in itself, man. I feel like these little markers that I cross off along the way has just been a blessing in disguise, you know.
Well, I heard the call out afterwards when you were sort of trying to say like, "Hey, Mexican crowd, you can support me too." You know what I mean? Like, did you feel like you won them over by the end of that night?
No, I mean to a degree. To a degree, there's like a handful of people that most people were cool. Most people were being cool, and there's a handful of people that were like talking shit, flipping me off, like doing the most, grabbing at me when we are walking by. So it was a little dicey still.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
Well, look, you're shirtless in the park right now. You're living your best life. Does it get hard locally to be Brandon Royval? I mean, if you're trying to buy, Delta 8s at the Circle K, is it difficult because people come right up to you? They know who you are.
It just depends on like what area I'm in for sure. Like I feel like I get recognized more in like certain places than not. But no, I mean I'm not gonna be doing this forever, so I just have to enjoy it when I can. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? What you don't see is the big old belly I have underneath. Like I haven't scrolled down, but your boy's picking up weight during these last couple of weeks, or this last 4 days.
All right, this is interesting. This is what the people want to know, how the sausage gets made and eaten. When you come off of a training camp, you win a big fight. Is it a week of like whatever fits in my body, or is it a little discipline in that?
No, no discipline at all, bro. I think it's if I can finish it, bro. You should see how much Girl Scout cookies I ran through. I've
Oh,
had
yeah.
I've had these collected up, and yeah, I've went through at least like 6 boxes, which is
All right, I
embarrassing.
gotta get the favorite here because I've been gone on record a million times. If it's not Thin Mints, I want to know what's wrong with you. What chemically went
It's
wrong
immense.
along the way? A lot of people like the tag alongs. A lot of people like weird stuff too. The coconut ones. I don't know about that. Where does the raw dog get down on the Girl
Oh, we're
Scouts?
Thin Mints, bro. I agree with you. If you don't like Thin Mints, you're a weird Girl Scout eater. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's
you
like
know,
it's the crack cocaine of cookies, And let's go, let's go. I'm here. All right, come
yeah.
on.
They give you enough. I feel like the sleeves even better, where they compacted it a little better. You know what I'm saying? There's so much that goes into what makes the Thin Mint the best Girl Scout cookie of all. But I'll take Tagalongs as a second. Not a
Love
close
it.
second, but a second, you know?
Uh, this is cool. I just get to pick the brain of the raw dog here as he's chilling
Oh, bro.
after this monstrous win here.
You should see how much like do you fuck with quesadilla tacos?
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Like bro, you're trying to make me speak a little bit of Spanish, which I've been already messing up. Quesadilla tacos? Quesadilla? I don't know how to say
Oh, yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah. I know what you're talking about now. Yes.
Bro, every day I've been having some of those. I hit
Oh,
all the street vendors up. Yeah, bro, I'm bad. I'm one of those people that like I make weight easily, and I've never missed weight in my life. But the week or 2 weeks after a fight, I can look like a whole different person. I walk around like I ate me or something, you know. But I
amazing.
know
And
personally, and maybe this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me, is I know I can make flyweight in a week and a half with with just trying to kill my body. And from there on out,
did you see the rehydrations from that card? I mean, people or from 298, Jeff Neal 30 pounds over after weighing in.
yeah,
This
that's
can't be safe. This can't be
yeah.
sustainable.
And like, maybe it's different from them, but it's like if I gained 30 pounds, I would be uncomfortable. Like that's too big of a difference, you know? I like going in at like 140, 143, no higher than that. That's like my ideal weight. But damn, man, if I was anything above that, I'd be uncomfortably like back there bouncing around. When I take my shirt off, I don't take my shirt off that much in public, even though it kind of looks like it now. This is bad timing, honestly. But
Like, I'm just showing off in public. I don't normally do this though. It's cool.
yeah. I was wearing a lame shirt. I didn't want you to see it. You know what I'm saying? But taking a look, when you take off your shirt in front of the UFC crowd, I'm like, you know, I'm not big or anything. I'm a little insecure, so it's, you know, so I'm not trying to have a belly on top of having this skinny body, like zero muscle, big old belly. Like I can look weird real quick.
The tacos, if you can make that on a week and a half, then I guess you've got an advantage over others. How tough? Give me in layman's terms. How insanely tough is it to make championship weight? I mean, I assume it's like every time you do it, you say this will be the last time, right?
Yeah, I was really grateful that I got the leeway on that pound this one around. But my last fight, I dieted. My last fight when I fought Pantoja at the championship weight was easy because when I was the backup, I made that shit so hard. I made it so hard. I can't believe I messed up that much on my diet, and it's been like since I was younger that I've done it that bad. But when I started cutting water weight, I weighed 142. Like Wednesday, I woke up, I weighed 142. I looked at it, I called my nutrition up, and I was like, what are we gonna do about this, bro? Like, he goes, you're getting in the sauna right now. So I cut weight for pretty much 24 hours and cut 17 pounds. That last pound was probably the worst one. But yeah, man, that day sucked. I don't know where I went wrong, or I think I just got cocky with it and I like thought I knew everything, and I just stopped checking my weight until I got there. That was a mistake. But damn, man, yeah, that was a horrible day. I'm glad I didn't have to fight that next day to a certain degree.
Well,
But when I fought
is that gap of a day and a half from the weigh into the fight enough, even if the weight cut was difficult to feel like yourself again come fight night?
I believe so. I believe so for sure. It's plenty of time. I've had a fight in the morning and weighed in at night type thing before. So for me, that's plenty of time. And it's like, I don't cut dangerously. I feel like I'm really good about it. And I've had a nutritionist since I was younger, and a couple of smart things that I've done along the way that I think some of these dudes, like when I fought Askar, or I was supposed to fight Askar, I heard he was like there the night of cutting 20 pounds or something, and he's like asking people, he's like, how do you cut? He's like, how do you guys cut weight? Or like even when I showed up to Mexico, dude, there's dudes cutting weight on Tuesday. Like Tuesday night, they're sitting there in the sauna, and it's like, you guys are sitting in the sauna, and then you guys have to drink water. You're pretty much just like spinning your wheels. It's like boxing. Have you ever been around like boxers don't know how to cut weight really? Like they don't cut weight intelligently. Right. I'll be in a boxing room and these dudes all have sweatsuits on right there, and they're like, yeah, we're cutting weight. And I'm like, that's not how you do it. You got to burn calories when you're a couple weeks out. You don't cut water weight 3 weeks out. That's dumb. And then they're not necessarily cutting water weight. They're cutting water weight and then putting it right back on. So it's just like, we're spinning our wheels right now. You got to burn calories. And it's like, that's the move, is being in a caloric deficit, which sucks, but it is what you have to do.
It's incredible what you guys go through to live out this dream, to entertain us. I got to get your thoughts on some pressing topics right here. Ilia Topuria wins the featherweight title. Congratulations to him. He's the king of Spain. He's the king of Europe. He's the king of Luke Thomas's heart. In fact, Luke's got a bonaire from here to Hanover, Ohio, over the rise of Topuria. Do we let Luke Thomas have this, or do we call him out for his annoying man love?
I think we might have to let him have this man love a little bit, man. Topuria, I mean, he's good, man. His ground game's good, and he's just out here knocking people out. You watch his like earlier fights, like when they're in. One of my friends was his fought Ilia Topuria, like when he was first fighting the UFC, Yusuf's Law. But if you watch his like come up, he was submitting a bunch of people, and then it like started turning to knockouts. And it's like, this kid's just developing. But when he first came on scene, he was like originally just like grappler, and it's like now he's knocking people out, and now he's just a real problem everywhere. And I don't know how he does against Max Holloway, But if Volk doesn't make big adjustments, I think the same result's going to happen. And kid has a certain aura about him and all that thing. But I think maybe like a Max Holloway could be a bad matchup for him.
That would be a very, very interesting fight. But if he got through that, man, I don't want to get on board like Luke is, but this man might not lose for a bit. You never know though. I mean, if my guy's the beat gets up in that bullpen once more, then that could change things. But on this same night in Mexico City, just happens to be a couple of my favorite fighters score big wins. You in the main event. But how about T City, man? How about our guy Brian Ortega? Did that fire you up to see him come back from hell and bust his ankle dancing to warm up and then
100%, especially someone because I got hurt in that first round. Especially someone that got hurt in that first round, that Brian Ortega kept me motivated in the pocket. And then me and him have like the same storyline, you know what I'm saying? Of like, we both got hurt against our opponent. We're both fighting the dude in Mexico. We're doing all this stuff. So we kind of have the same storyline when it comes to that. So for some reason I had in my head as like, the moment Brian Ortega won, I'm like, I'm for sure winning. Like, I put that in my head. After he won that fight, I was like, oh, cool. We're catching W's now. And I do so many dumb things because if he would have lost, I would have put some weird thing together that's why he lost and I'm gonna win type thing. But I'll get like weirdly some superstition that only works out for me type thing. But that was the one leading up to it. Me and him were warming up together right next to each other in the locker room. He popped his shoulder out, I popped my shoulder out. He just beat some dude direct from Mexico, being a Mexican American, and same thing as me. So in my head, I was just like, oh, now I'm for surely gonna win since Brian Ortega won. So yeah.
Well, you said you guys had similar stories. I was hoping you had a similar social life to that guy because he's a lot of people's heroes for the right reasons. To be very fair.
Yeah. You're comparing. This is the second time you compared a beautiful man compared to myself. It's like I'm sure his DMs were popping and stuff too. But
oh God, well now he's married. Who would have saw that coming? Ortega's married.
I know.
All right, there we go. Happy to see it though for him. Does Conor McGregor ever fight again?
I don't think so. But bro. I need Michael Taylor needs to give up on that because I don't think he's ever. Michael Taylor might not ever fight again if he keeps pressing his luck.
He might be giving up what's left of his peak earning years, waiting for this payday, right?
100%, 100%. And it's like if he's not getting direct pay-per-view money off of it, then he's wasting money right now. Like if he's fighting for a normal contract type thing on it, he might just be wasting money right now or wasting time to make money.
All right. Have you seen Money Moicano, another guy I love, just an absolute crazy man, calling out the UFC saying enough of these shitty fight nights, enough of the Apex. He didn't want to fight at the Apex, but he did it. Do the fighters start to echo this, or is this just something the media talks about too much?
No, I believe this 100% too. I feel like the UFC is what's it called when there's two like an inflation, not inflation of fighters, but
Monopoly.
I'm not the. Yeah, no, I mean this is all true stuff. I'm talking about like since there's so many fighters that they put on some fighters that I don't think would have been UFC quality, like or should have been UFC quality, like top notch quality. So you get like a condensed version of what real great fighters could be. You know what I'm saying? Do you remember like back in the day when you'd watch a UFC and you'd know every fighter on the card?
Oh, absolutely.
And it's like yeah. There was like a time where I knew every fighter on the card from beginning to end. Now it's like I don't know half these dudes. I don't even know some of these guys in my weight class where I'm like, oh shit, this guy's a flyweight. Yeah. So it's just kind of like, I mean, it's cool because they're making their money. So and like,
oh, are they, Brandon? 12-12 isn't ringing too.
Oh no, I'm not talking about the fighters. I'm talking about the UFC.
Okay, good.
The UFC's making their money.
Sorry about that one. Okay, all right.
Yeah. But the products being watered down. I mean, yeah, that's what I was looking for.
They've got dates to fill. It's become what it is. The Dana White Contender Series has become a factory for them. I understand it. I can see it. On this note, because I am self-conscious sometimes, we rail against power slap because it's disrespectful, man. There's no defense. Yeah. Do fighters care about that absolute bullshit?
About defense? Obviously, I don't. No,
I mean, but when you see your own company put out power slap, is it like, okay, cool, go do your thing, or is it like, man, F that?
I just don't think it should be on their social media. Like, I don't think UFC should be posting like some dude slapping another person because it's like I've been in the UFC PI with these guys, and what they do compared to what we do is like a joke. Like these dudes are like, I don't even know why they're wasting time on the scale. They're sitting there like none of them cut weight. They're all just sitting there like eating fucking fruit roll-ups, not like acting like an athlete at all, and then go jumping on the scale. They're like, oh, I'm this. And I'm like, this is I don't know, man. I guess it's whatever you can consider a sport. I don't know what the technical term that qualifies like or defines a sport, but it's just like what they do and what we do is 100% different, and for a million different reasons. But it's just like the discipline it takes to be an MMA fighter and like be in that UFC at the UFC PI and stuff like that. Is like I remember just like it being an honor where I'm like, this is like my museum. You know what I'm saying? Like there's are like a playground for me. Like there's punching bags, there's speed bags, there's everything I ever wanted. There's two different cages, one big size, one small size, and these assholes are on the speed bag slapping it like idiots. And I'm like, I don't know, man. As someone who loves the martial arts, I don't consider slapping the martial arts portion of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
it's shocking to me. It's shocking to me the effort put in, but hey, it's business. They feel like it's hot in India. They say it's hot in India. What do I know? You know, what do I know? What do I know? I'm just dwelling in my basement right now. When you see a card like UFC 300, you won't be able to get on it. You just main evented Mexico City. As a fighter, is that the goal? Like, would you have wanted to been on that more than anything, or does it not matter to you?
yeah, that was my goal. If I won the fight or if I lost the fight, is who was I gonna call out for UFC 300 when right after the Pantoja fight? But it's like if I won that fight, if I could be on that UFC 300 card, that'd been so sweet. But I was trying to find fighters that would be fun to fight on that card anyway. So that was like another thing that I was gonna do is just call someone out and try to get on that UFC 300 card because you know what a what an honor that would be to be a part of like one of those legacy cards. You know.
It's incredible. It's history. Those round numbers matter. I get into arguments about it, but they do matter. They do.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
are a moment in time. They are, you know.
Yeah, it's one of those stupid things, but it's like, yeah, and it's a cool card to be a part of. And uh, I was curious to see what the main event was. I'm still excited about the main event for sure. It's a dope fight, but I was curious what they're gonna do because it just seemed like they're gonna have fucking Godzilla versus King Kong in there at a certain point. The buildup was so like was so big that I thought it was gonna be something major.
All right, we've seen a celebrity. Well, look, the UFC. Let's give them credit. There's celebrities galore showing up at every event. But to see Volkanovski put Mark Zuckerberg in his corner, we've seen it a few other times with quasi celebrities get. Dude, when Mike Perry put Coach Latoria in his corner was the coolest freaking thing of all time. Have you
Yeah.
ever wanted to experiment with something like that? And what do you lose by sacrificing a member of your corner to put somebody famous in there?
Yeah. I was about to have Mike Perry's girlfriend in my corner too one time. No, I was playing. I'm just joking. Scratch that. I don't want to get my ass kicked. Them was jokes.
Yeah, yeah. You're
But
about to catch some of that bear fade. I'm telling you.
I know, huh? Yeah, Mike Perry's man. But I dude, I would do that shit for sure. I only had three corners in this fight, and it's like be quite fair too. I don't know if I even listen to shit when I fight. My corner did a great job, and I was doing some of the stuff, but I feel like I barely started listening in my fights recently. So it's that was one thing I was thinking of too. Is just like I had an option at four corners when you're the main event, and it's like, bro, people were leaving messages like saying they'll give me money to be in that corner. And I'm like, if I get $50,000 for someone to be in my corner, maybe I secured a sponsor. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep. Yep.
yeah, if Elon Musk wants to be in my corner, besides him bringing that bad juju and not caring shit, I would allow him for sure. No, I'm just saying.
It is weird seeing a nerd like Zuck go up there, but you know, he's doing much better than I am. Maybe I'll
What
leave
are
him
you
alone
talking?
here.
When you look at a nerd like that, you're like, this is either the dorkiest dude ever or one of the best jujitsu practitioners I've ever seen.
Well, Elon did not have the balls to pick up the phone. But let me ask you this. A year from now, if Brandon Royval is going to be the flyweight champion of the world, what has to happen? Does anything need to change? Has it already changed mentally? How do you get to the top of that mountain?
I still believe I could beat all these guys with the skill set I have now, but definitely wrestling. Wrestling is something that when I was younger, I might have already told you this on the interview, but I had a Miguel Torres interview when I was younger, and he said,
Uh-oh.
I'll beat any of these guys where they're good at," and he's like, I kind of just had that mind state of just like, if you take me down, that's where I want to beat you. That's where I want to like win that. If we strike, that's where I want to win at, and I kind of had that like mentality my whole entire career, and maybe not diving in deep as the wrestling as I should, and thinking it as like a point system because even like a guy like Pantoja, who's a killer, fought for points when me and him went, and it's like if he's doing that, then everybody's gonna start. Like everybody's already doing it. It's just if he's doing that and he's a champion, and that's like then I need to start thinking about that too. Of just like, okay, this is gonna secure this round. This is gonna do that. This is gonna do that. And it's like we're in such a high level where it's like these guys that I'm fighting are all really good, and it's like it's hard to get finishes now. Where when I was younger, it was just like, oh, you're a wrestler. You want to take the fight down? I'm going to submit you in 2 seconds. It's like these guys are world class. Pantoja's a world class grappler. He's not going to be an easy submission for sure. And that motherfucker might have the best chin in the UFC. So finishing him isn't really the best option. Yeah. So there's like
when he won that title, dude, you gotta pour one out for him. He gave all. That's why I didn't think he was gonna. That's why I thought you were gonna beat him for the belt, mostly because I didn't know how much he left in the cage against Moreno.
Yeah, and I was thinking that too. I'm like, dude, this chin has to be eventually cracked. And it's like, I know I got like I'm not the strongest puncher maybe, but I know I have a strong kick and a strong knee. And he walked into one of those so flush and just did not bat an eye. And I was like, this guy can take a fucking punch, man. And that being said, his submission defense is great. So it's just like when it comes down to that, I might have to actually win on points or just a real gut battle. I think that's how I'd fight him next. Is just I would just stay in his face the whole entire time and just do a battle of will, you know. And it's like at a certain point, it's just like I'm gonna turn into a gut race, and that's how I want to see my next fight going with him. Is just no matter what it is, I'm gonna make him work harder than he's ever worked in his whole entire life, and I'm not gonna step back.
A flyweight track meet in the trilogy with Pantoja coming up. Hey,
yeah, I have like
if he doesn't get, if you don't, go ahead. No, I
have an upset with Prefontaine, man. I have like a real big Prefontaine obsession, and that fool, he was like not a talented racer, which I feel like that about myself. I'm not like I've never been talented at anything, but it's just like in a guts battle and a battle of will, I've always been great at. I've always thrived there, and I feel like that's where I would take it next. Is I was trying to out sophisticate him. I was trying to be tricky with him, and it's just like let's just see where his heart is. Let's see who got bigger heart. Let's see who got a bigger set of nuts when it comes down to it, you know.
Yeah.
And
huevos, brother.
Huevos, yeah, bro. 1 week in Mexico, bro. I should start messing up on that. Simone Holmes.
You mentioned
I love
Prefontaine, and Prefontaine's got the great running quote of to paraphrase, it's not about who's faster, it's who's willing to endure more pain. Can you take that to the UFC cage?
Oh, 100%, 100%. I didn't want to take it there, but I feel like I have to now. With these like next few guys, they're good, and it's just like I feel like it's just gonna turn into like one of those, just like who can endure more pain, who can endure all that. That's actually like kind of one thing that got me through camp too. Is just like a saying like that. And it was it was something similar to that. Just like how much pain are you willing to put yourself through is like the closest you are to living kind of thing. And it's like I kind of went from one camp to the next camp, and like I was facing injuries after the Pantoja, but I actually injured my hand pretty badly. So it was like I was pretty much training the first couple of weeks without like fully being able to engage in that. And then I had a cutting weight 2 times in a row sucks. So it's just like in my head it was just like I wanted to put myself through hell because man, that's really what this fucking sport comes down to sometimes, man. And it's like if you want it, it's just hard work. And it's like I've lived that life for so long that it's like almost nothing to me nowadays. It's hard work's what we do around here. And I really believe that. This is the park that I like actually finish my runs at normally. And when
are you in
like
Denver?
during camp, yeah, I'm in Denver. So during camps, I'll hit like a 12-mile run, and this is where I finish it at. Is this, right. And it's just like yeah. So it's nice to sit back here and not be fucking sore as shit and all that other stuff.
Now, do you get to have a THC party at the end of the workout? Is that what happens in Colorado?
Yeah, for sure, man. I actually might do that right now. But yeah.
All might just enjoy it. Morning Combat Edition. Yes.
It's a beautiful day, and when I was leaving Colorado, it was snowy. Like this shit. Well, I was so happy to go to Mexico City because look, there was a blizzard before, and I'm like, it's a good time to get the hell out of here.
There it is, man. I could just pick the brain of the Raw Dog for a weekly segment here for hours. I appreciate the time, Brandon, of getting inside the mind. One of my favorite.
Let me pick your brain. Do you think Ken Martin has a chance of beating Tank Davis? Or kid, what the fuck, Frank
Frank
Martin or
Martin.
whatever the fuck.
Frank Martin. He
Frank
has a
Martin.
chance. Yes, I accept that fight. I love that fight. You know, of course, you want to see Gervonta against Haney, against Teofimo, against all the big names. I do question how much bigger in weight Gervonta is going to allow himself to grow. There's a lot of killers at 140 that I don't know if he's going out of his way to fight. I love that fight with Frank Martin. He's got the speed. He's got the dog. He's got some pop. He gets inside on you. I think Frank Martin could win. I don't think he
Yeah.
will, but I don't have any issue with this matchup whatsoever. It's funny bringing up Ryan Garcia again. As much as I love that matchup because of the star power, I don't see how I give Rye Guy a chance against Haney, especially
Oh yeah.
if he's off, if he's living the Oscar life. If there's fishnets showing up soon, stockings, I don't know if I'm gonna give him a shot at all in that one.
Oh, absolutely. And then like that's one thing about Ryan Garcia you got to give him credit for is he's willing to take some of these hard fights. It's like if I was him, I probably would have fought Rolly or like a Pitbull. I would definitely have took my sweet time to go fight Haney, but him calling out Haney right off the bat was just like this guy's really like risking it all, man. And he's one of the top paid box. If I was one of the top paid boxers, I was looking that much, I would definitely have not fought Haney next. And I might have a duck tank a little bit too, but maybe that's what's getting him paid is tank, really, honestly. But yeah, it's good to see. Like it's such a good time for boxing. But Frank Martin has to be one of my favorite to like watch as a
Oh
southpaw.
yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah, just watching like that southpaw, like the way he moves, him and Boots are like kind of like move the same, and like even like that little Lomachenko movement, but like they're a little bit bigger. So I don't know, man. It'd be cool to watch Frank Martin take that, but I don't think so
Yeah,
goddamn
yeah. I
good.
hope
And
they
that's
make
such
that fight soon. I know there's been rumors that it's being signed behind the scenes, but we got to see it. We got to see more big fights. Canelo not fighting Benavidez. I mean, what are we doing, Raw Dog? Come on, bro.
I
Right?
know, I know. He's not gonna fight him at all. Is he fighting the other Charlo?
No, he's going over to the zone. He wants to fight Munguia or the big puncher, Edgar Berlanga, who's not ready yet. Not ready for prime
Yeah.
time. Yeah, yeah. Hey, good to see you
Damn.
get into the box too. That's what I'm talking about. You would never do BKFC, would you?
Yeah, fuck no, I would never do BKFC. And then that's like another thing too, is I'm in a weird weight class where it's like, uh, I would have to like if I was trying to make money and challenge one of these boxers, I'm not fighting in a way like fuck box in a way that's like a death. Yeah, I wouldn't want that. So it's like, and then who are the guys that are fighting today or tomorrow? There's two dudes that are my weight class pretty much that are fighting. Like I don't know if I want to fight either one of those dudes either. Like
Yeah.
these weight classes are pretty good, and it's like I don't know, man. Maybe like a heavyweight, and I had the heavyweight skill. I wouldn't mind, but these fucking little dudes are good.
You can get carved up in that game, man. You can get carved the
Yeah,
hell
straight
up.
up. Have you seen Carmel fight? Carmel Morton or Moten or
Yes,
whatever?
Carmel Moten, Floyd Mayweather's young prospect. I mean, he's young, but he looks to be the goods.
Yeah, he might be the guy, man. I was watching him spar. I'm like, that motherfucker is so goddamn good.
All right, so the guy I've circled of the boxers right now that I think most has I can't put a ceiling on him is Shakur Stevenson. Who's that guy for you?
For sure. And I feel like everybody's ducking him right now too. I feel like he might be the most ducked, and because he don't have like the necessary star power to want to fight him right now. But
I mean,
yeah, I
southpaw,
think they're all
being able to move. Yeah.
because even with Haney, it's like I thought Lomo beat Haney, and I'm a huge Lomo fan, so I'm probably just gonna say that no matter what. But I thought Lomo beat Haney, and I don't know. You know, it's another weird one is Teofima. Teofima is one of those dudes who I'm like, this guy could be the best boxer in the world one day, and then the next day he's just fucking.
He's just
I don't know.
average one day. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird, man. There's always chaos in his life too, and sometimes he juggles it perfectly and shocks you. Other times
yeah.
you're like, what the hell's going on here? It's weird.
Yeah, I thought Oscar Valdez might even won that fight. Maybe I was scoring it wrong, but I thought like maybe I was just impressed by how good Oscar Valdez was doing. But I thought the same thing with the Loma. I'm like, Oscar Valdez is good, man. He's just right outside that like little area where you're seeing him do so many good things, but it's just like, man, I would love to see him catch a bout soon or one of those.
You talking about Valdez or Jermaine Ortiz, who Teo?
Or Jermaine Ortiz. Yeah. What the fuck? I don't know.
Valdez is a good fighter too, man.
Bro, I get all these fools confused constantly. So I'll be saying Haney for Shakur, all that all the time. But yeah, another one. All right, last one before I can stop going off on boxing. But I'm a huge Boots fan. Boots is like another one of those dudes when he goes southpaw. Just like he does so many cool little angles and so many cool little things. That's like,
dude, he's a virtuoso. He's like out there abstract painting, just like just playing outside the chords and noodling. I'd love to see him against Terrence Crawford, but I don't think there's a chance we get that.
Yeah, Terrence is gonna take that, which is smart.
I mean, Terrence won't take the fight unless there was so much money, I think. Because I think Terrence is
Yeah.
looking at, I got a couple super paydays left, maybe Canelo, you know what I mean? Maybe Tim Tszyu at 54, but you want to see a guy like Boots who has waited for a couple years and is looked to be that guy who has next. You want to see him properly take the handoff by going through a modern star to get there, right? You don't want to see him winning a vacant title against some guy you never heard of from Uzbekistan. You know what I mean? You want to see him go through the Thurmans, those Crawfords, the Spences, so to speak. But it's politics. Boxing's got a lot of BS politics. I know UFC's got a lot of BS politics, but you know, I don't want to get you in trouble here. It's been so great talking to the Raw Dog. Let me close with this realistic question here, because I love this. What's the best part about being a UFC fighter?
The best part about being a UFC fighter, man, I feel like just training. Like I love training, and then back in the day, like I would train all the time, but it's just like the recovery part of it I never had because I was working a job or like I was in school and I was doing all these other little things where you're like I just didn't want to be like like you know what I'm saying I needed a place to live, and I wasn't one of those fighters that were living in my car, like living with roommates and stuff. I lived by myself always, so it was just like I I was pretty much just lacking sleep. Like any recovery time was me working or doing some other thing.
Damn.
And it kind of turned into that. But yeah, so for me, it's just training full time and just getting to do like I get to go box. I get to go do jujitsu now. And it's like I get to go, like I'm not just doing MMA classes. I get to go out and box some of these boxers in Colorado. I get to go do jujitsu with Michael Lear, who's one of the best jujitsu guys in the world. And it's like, for me, it's just a freedom that I have now. And it's like that's the coolest part, because if I didn't have to fight, I would almost enjoy that too. But it's just like in order to train full time, I got to fight sometimes, you know?
True, but it allows you to really, really hone your craft in ways that working full time somewhere else wouldn't. I thought you would say the walkout, the rush, because I feel like that's one of those things that brings people back. Is that not a thing for you?
No, I hate the walkout. Honestly, I feel like my walkout last time was cool because I mixed two songs that I mixed my Shimmy Shimmy Ooh Baby I Like It Raw with a Mexican song, and I had that whole crowd fooled until they saw my face. They're like, "Oh shit, boo!" But I had the whole crowd singing, so that was one of my favorite walkouts I've had. Just because I mixed two songs, and you know, there was a moment where the crowd was rooting for me. But other than that, man, I hate that walkout. That's actually one of the harder parts for me, is like walking out and getting like being in the back room. Like warming up's cool, all the other stuff's cool. Driving to the arena and then walking out's the hardest part for me.
Interesting. Love it, man. Love it. Could have been here all day. Raw Dog, thank you for the time. We're going to see you back soon, maybe, right? Soon-ish?
Yeah. Hopefully in 2
fight
months.
A lot. Highways don't
Yeah,
mess
hopefully
around. They fight.
3-1. Yeah. I'm trying to stay active too, man.
There it is, man. What a good dude. Great to chat with you. Congratulations on the win over Moreno. We'll do this again. I appreciate you being what should I say? You recognize the MK. You accept the role that MK plays in this weird combat kingdom. I appreciate it.
All right, cool. Thank you for your time, bro. I appreciate you for having me on again.
Stay positive and test negative. All right, bro. That's where we're
at. Always Natty King over here. Scrawny as shit. All right, like
good